aficionados. I'm Peter Brooks, your Master of Ceremonies for the 32nd KeyboardFest presented by the Mid-Michigan Music Teachers Association. Now would you please welcome our Mid-Michigan music teachers to the stage. This evening, we will hear 194 pianists using 388 hands and 1,940 fingers. I had to recount them for you. The 12 grand pianos you see on the stage have been graciously provided by Steinway Piano Gallery of Detroit, the Midwest's largest selection of Steinway and Steinway-designed Boston and Essex pianos. We hope you'll take some time tonight and tomorrow to look at the fine instruments that have been brought here for our use by Steinway Piano Gallery of Detroit. In fact, we could not present this event without their generous support. And who knows, maybe you'll find one you'd like to take home with you. We're pleased to have James Holmeyer returning as our conductor. Mr. Holmeyer is the Director of Music at Midland's United Church of Christ and retired from the Midland Center for the Arts in 2017. Jim was recently appointed as the choral director at Saginaw Valley State University for the winter term. He is teaching choral conducting, advanced piano, private lessons, and directing choir. Jim has won awards in the National Adult Conducting Competition in Wisconsin and the American Conductors Competition in California. He is also Director Emeritus of the Rochester Symphony. Jim has been an adjudicator for the Michigan School Vocal Music Association for the past 47 years and enjoys working with school choirs, bands, orchestras, and more at festivals. Jim and his partner Susan Mercy enjoy being featured performers for special events in the Great Lakes Bay region. Recently, they were music directors for A Christmas Story, the musical, here at the center, as well as Elf, the musical, at Saginaw's Pit and Balcony Theater. And this spring, Jim will be conducting the musical Newsies for the Bay City Players. On occasion, he can be found flying his Piper Archer or Cessna Skyhawk airplane around Michigan. Jim is also president of the Fly More Flying Club in his spare time. The Holmeyer Mercy Music Studio has students from age 60 to 65, and they study piano, organ, violin, viola, and cello. And so would you please welcome our conductor this evening, Mr. Holmeyer, to the stage. In old Key West, Florida, the inhabitants keep a quaint and beautiful tradition. Each evening, the entire village drops its occupations and congregates on the western shore to enjoy the sunset. Key Lime's sunset pays homage to that tradition. Today, the practice has been taken up with relish by tourists as well, creating a circus-like atmosphere, attracting souvenir hawkers, musicians, acrobats, all joining into the festive spirit. At last, the climactic moment arrives, the sun sets, and everyone applauds. So enjoy that summer feeling here in the middle of winter as the teachers now perform Key Lime Sunset. Shoeshine and Blues takes its inspiration from blues music, which originated in the Deep South around the end of the 19th century. It's derived from folk music and spirituals blended together, going all the way back to the music of Africa. Blues often follows a narrative, a singer voicing personal woes of reality, which you can hear in this rather melancholy tune. The next selection, Red Rooster Strut, is also by Martha Meir. Ms. Meir is a prolific American composer who lives in Florida. She has written music for piano in many styles and is well known for her jazz, rags, and blues series. This piece uses lots of accented notes, as you'll notice, staccato or short detached notes, and a bit of blues to paint a picture of a proud barnyard red rooster strutting his stuff. Melody Bober composed our next two pieces. Ms. Bober has taught music privately, in public schools, at the university level, and in church settings. She's composed many pieces for her students with the goal of creating exciting and challenging pieces that promote a lifelong love and appreciation for music. We usually play 3 or 4 of her pieces each year at KeyboardFest. Secret Agent uses minor sounds to imitate someone sneaking around. Agents have to be secretive and unobtrusive, so watch for a sneaky left hand from the student who plays the higher part. Then put on your sombrero as we head south of the border with Sombrero Song. Sombrero comes from the word sombra in Spanish, which means shade. And of course, this wide-brimmed hat helps you stay in the shade no matter where you go. So you can imagine yourself during the song loping through the Mexican countryside, past the spiked agave and prickly pear cactus, being glad you have a sombrero to shade your head from the hot summer sun beating down. Arranged by Carolyn Miller, even the youngest among us is going to recognize our first piece, Old MacDonald. What animals does the farmer have on his farm? I think I can hear a duck quack, quack, quacking, and an E-I-E-I-O. And then next, you're going to want to get ready to propel your craft gently down the liquid solution. Row, row, row your boat, of course, is a nursery rhyme often sung in a round. Now, there are different versions of the lyrics to this you may not be aware of. For example, now maybe you do recall, row, row, row your boat underneath the stream. Ha ha, I fooled you all, I'm a submarine. Remember that one? Or my personal favorite, row, row, row your boat gently down the creek. If your boat fills with water, then you've got a leak. A Bicycle Built for Two was written in 1892 and was popular among young people at sing-alongs. It was also the earliest song sung using computer-generated speech. That was back in 1961. Now, our version tonight is much more melodic than computer speech would be, as the tune floats along like an afternoon bicycle ride. Then Irish Washerwoman is an arrangement of a classic jig. It's played in 3/4 time. A jig has a lively triple rhythm. The word jig actually comes from the French word zig, which is an old word for fiddle. So jigs have an association with the fiddle. Of course, jig also refers to the dance done to this music, which is very joyful, has a lot of hopping steps. Jigs became popular in Ireland in the 16th century, spread throughout England, and eventually came to the US. In the Little House on the Prairie books, Pa played the Irish Washerwoman on his fiddle, and tonight, our students are going to play it for you on the piano. In the center of our stage tonight is one awesome dude. He is our one-man percussion section, Tom Ryden. Now, over the years, he's become a very welcomed and much appreciated fixture on the stage. He's been the percussionist for all 32 KeyboardFest concerts. Now he's been, just hold on, just say it, wait, yes! He's been helping our performers keep a steady beat all through the years. Mr. Ryden is a Dow Chemical retiree, but that hasn't stopped him from his musical pursuits. So now, let's everybody give an enthusiastic round of applause for our percussionist, Tom Ryden. Well, composer Melody Bober joins us again for Icicle Waltz. Ms. Bober lives in Minnesota, and one wonders if this piece was inspired by those long, frosty winters. Students are told to play this piece gracefully, and you may be reminded of the peacefulness of a snowy landscape, icicles hanging from trees and roof lines, or maybe families ice skating in the park. And then, Rockin' Good Times completes the set. Now, this energetic tune uses a basic 12-bar blues pattern based on 3 chords. It has a very bouncy rhythm, as you'll see, in a boogie-woogie style, which happens to be my favorite musical term to say out loud. In fact, I plan to say it at least 3 more times introducing the song. The origins of boogie-woogie have been traced to the late 1800s when itinerant African-American piano players traveled around eastern Texas performing at camps and dance halls. The distinctive boogie-woogie style is an important part of the African-American musical heritage, and today's popular music can trace its roots back to blues and, say it with me, boogie-woogie styles. Yeah. Oh, and be sure you listen for the glissando, the slide at the end. Crystal Lake by Ann Wynne Rossi relaxes us and allows us to breathe now. You can imagine a clear blue lake in the summer, the sun glinting off the wind's ripples on the water, maybe like Crystal Lake up north. Or maybe since it's winter, you'll picture an iced over lake with the sun sparkling off the snow, a still and peaceful atmosphere. Then our program takes a rather jaunty turn with Carnival Ride. Now, in most of our duets, the student on the left plays the secondo part, usually providing chordal structure and using the lower notes, while the right, or primo part, plays the melody, until the two switch melody and chords partway through. And that's exactly what you're going to hear in this piece if you listen carefully. The composer, Mike Springer, must have a sense of humor, as the sheet music has a tempo or speed marking that says, moving along, and as you'll hear, it does. Well, Fascination originated as a waltz in 1904 when Marchetti wrote it, and here arranged by Kevin Olson. It's been a popular piece for years, and now you'll hear it in various TV shows and movies. In fact, you may recognize it from the first two Karate Kid films. Then Two Guitars. Now, that was composed in the 19th century by Ivan Vasileva. It's a song of the Russian Roma people and had lyrics that referred to the seven-string guitar, which was native to Russia, that the Roma musicians played. This type of guitar is rarely seen today. The staccato notes are going to give the impression of guitar strings, like a classical guitar being played. The pair of guitars works together, just like our students work together with these duets. Do Your Ears Hang Low is a popular camp and school song you may remember from your childhood. It asks if your ears stand straight, if they flip-flop, stick out, and frankly, we're all going to be surprised if your ears can do what the last verse, which happens to be my personal favorite, suggests. Do your ears give snacks? Are they all filled up with wax? Do you eat it in the morning? Do you eat it in the bath? Do you eat it with a scone? Do you eat it all alone? Do your ears give snacks? Who wrote this? Eat your heart out, Dr. Seuss. And The Yellow Rose of Texas is a traditional folk song from Civil War times, arranged for a duet by Carolyn Miller. In fact, this folk song was chosen as one of the top 100 Western songs of all time by members of the Western Writers of America. enjoyed the evening so far, and we're going to continue with the rest of KeyboardFest in just a moment. But first, I want to take a couple of minutes to say a big thank you to some very special people who make this whole thing possible. Of course, our conductor, Jim Holmeyer, and percussionist, Tom Ryden, but also to Sue Rutel of Herter Music Center for supplying the music, to Steinway Piano Gallery for providing the pianos, to the hardworking members of the KeyboardFest committee, co-chaired by Diana Kieran and Penny Vanderbush, and to all the families who encourage and support these students in their piano study. Will you please give these folks a round of applause? Well, Wistful Waltz sets a contemplative tone now as it dances across the piano. Think of gowns and tuxes, maybe a dip or a twirl in this graceful piece by Beth Raines Anderson. The melody alternates between major and harmonic minor, which adds to its charm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, waltz with me. Got it? The Ukrainian bell carol was originally written by Mykola Lentoyevich, who lived from 1877 to 1921. He was a Ukrainian composer, conductor, and teacher. And after being educated as a priest, he wrote church music, including the first Ukrainian language liturgy. He also arranged folk tunes, and the bell carol was one of those. It tells the story of a swallow flying into a house to tell the people there of their coming good fortune in the new year. However, when Carol of the Bells was performed in Carnegie Hall in 1921, American composer, educator, and choral conductor named Peter Wachowski wrote new English lyrics and turned it into a Christmas song. Well, Phoenix Blues gives students a chance to put some swing into their performance tonight. Duets help the students improve their sense of rhythm and ensemble. Gives them a chance to sense their partner's musicianship, and they get to enjoy each other's spirit in the music. And we hope you enjoy their spirit in these two songs. The second piece, you're invited to join the circus ringmaster as you envision elephants and clowns cavorting across the floor of the big top. What do you see the ringmaster introducing there in his bright jacket and hat? Maybe people flying on the trapeze, unicyclists twirling about, jugglers throwing clubs back and forth to each other, maybe a strong man or a fire eater. Anything is possible when you use your imagination while you listen to this musical menagerie. Well, at this time, we'd like to take a moment to honor the students who are seniors this year. Music, of course, enriches our lives. It's a skill that lasts a lifetime. And we hope that all of you will continue to make it a part of your future. So, seniors, please come to the front of the stage as I announce your name and wait there, and we'll recognize you with a round of applause after all the names have been announced. So we begin with Chloe Brockway, Anna Gillis, Sean Hansen, Ellie Kutrib, Emily Locker, Anderson Lee, Tanvi Malawar, Joss Marsh, Maddie Midkiff, Shubhan Nagarkar, Grace Shepard, Somya Somasi, and Grant Wang. Congratulations, seniors. Robert Vandal composed Viva Vivaldi for Flying Fingers. Antonio Vivaldi was a much admired contemporary of Johann Sebastian Bach in the early 1700s. He was known for writing many works that had lots of runs and wrote a huge number of concertos, which are pieces for instrumentals, solo, and orchestra. Nearly 500 concertos have survived. Of course, the word viva means long life. So Vandal modeled his composition in the style of Baroque music, which tells us, "Long live Vivaldi." And Danza Giochizo by Dennis Alexander will complete this set. Legend 5 in A-flat major and Legend 6 in C-sharp minor are both pieces by Antonin Dvorak and are part of a 10-piece cycle written in 1881. Antonin Dvorak was a Czech composer who lived from 1841 to 1904. He frequently engaged features of folk music from his native Bohemia. Dvorak studied the organ in Prague, wrote his first composition at age 20, and later gained a respected church organist position. And that gave him time to focus on composing. Dvorak's skills are varied, and he wrote many cantatas, operas, pieces of choral music, quintets, and symphonies. He's probably best known for his New World Symphony and was described as arguably the most versatile composer of his time.
Having fun? I am. I'm having the most fun of anybody, except maybe the next lady who's going to talk to you. This next lady that's going to talk to you is a very special person in the MBS area, Midland Bay City, Saginaw area, and worldwide. You know, if you're from a local community, some people don't realize that we have famous people in our midst. And here she is. This is my friend Catherine McMichael. Last year, we tried to get this piece on the program, but it was too late. So now she's going to tell you a little bit about the program, but first, put your hands together and welcome my friend Catherine McMichael.
Yes, I just live down the road in Saginaw. So, so nobody in your own backyard is, so what? Anyway, the piece that you're going to hear is called Samba para tres, Samba for three. It was written for one of my students back in 2019, Nicholas Hislop. His dad was the music director at St. Lawrence in Frankenmuth, and his concept was that the three of us, Nicholas and Scott and myself, would play this piece, three people, with the Frankenmuth concert band. Nicholas played French horn also in the band. So that was the plan, and that was 2019, and Nicholas was due to graduate in 2020. This was a graduation gift. Of course, it didn't happen. Nothing happened in 2020. So the piece was sort of put on the shelf. Meanwhile, Nicholas has gone off to U of M. The Hislops have moved to Dallas, and I had two extraordinary students, one of whom studied with Jim Homeyer for many years, Matt Conley. Many of you probably know Matt, and Kellen Woolheiser, who lives in this area also. And I asked Scott if he would think it a good idea for the three of us to play it, since it still hadn't been played, and he said, oh, go for it. So we did, actually. We had the first performance right here on this stage, during this event, not during this event, but sort of like in a corner of it. And then the next day, we premiered it at SVSU. A concerto, when you think of a concerto, it's stuffy, it's serious, it's hard, it's all those things you don't want to do. And my concept was to make this the most fun thing I'd ever played. And actually, I think it is. There are three movements. The first one is called Sonico, which means a lot of sound. And to me, it's like three semis just barreling down the highway. The second movement's called Serenata, and that was a serenade about Scott's love for his son, Nicholas, and his mom's love also. And the third movement, I thought, well, let's have a party. So it turned into a samba. So this samba is actually not para tres, not for three, it's for para trece, for 13. And I hope you just have a blast. I'm sure you will not have as much fun as we're gonna have, but enjoy it. And I'm very grateful to the Mid-Michigan Music Teachers Association for allowing this to be programmed, and very grateful to all the students who I know put in a lot of time to learn this and work on it. Very grateful to the percussion section. There is, by the way, a full band accompaniment and a full orchestra accompaniment and a full percussion accompaniment. So, I mean, if you've got an orchestra ready to play, just let us know. So, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy samba.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you very much for investing in your children's music education. How many adults wish they'd never quit piano? Oh, yeah. You know what? Every time I talk to an adult, they say, I wish my mother or my dad had made me continue, and they were never happy about stopping. So these young people are going to get to a point in their life where they're going to say, Mom, I don't want to practice. It takes too much time out of my life. You're the adult. They're the child. Say no. Yeah, they will thank you when they turn 40, 45, something like that. Okay, we're gonna have a party. You ready for a party?
Well, that concludes this evening's performance. I want you to know you are invited to stay. You can come up on stage, take pictures, check out these beautiful instruments here on stage and out in the foyer. Thank you for coming, and students, remember the golden rule: practice, practice, practice. Good night. We'll see you next year.